If you guys are fans of superheroes, their comics, their movies, and their shows, then you guys should also read the pulp novels that inspired them and laid the groundwork for what the superhero medium is today. Before comic books, we had pulp magazines that told amazing tales of horror, sci-fi, romance, fantasy, and detective mystery stories. This was the era where a lot of the big and popular American writers like Lovecraft, Johnston McCulley, Robert E. Howard, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Lester Dent, Raymond Chandler, Ashton Clark Smith, among others, made their debuts. This era has a lot of my favorite writers, but the most interesting thing about this is that the first superheroes were born in this era thanks to all the weird and creative storytelling going on. The first superhero could be considered Tarzan of the Apes, which was created in 1912 by Edgar Rice Burroughs, which is the inspiration for all the jungle-based heroes, specifically the Phantom, which was the first comic book superhero. Then we also could say that the second ever superhero was John Carter of Mars, created in 1912 by Edgar Rice Burroughs too, who is the inspiration of all space and alien-based superheroes. But if we are talking about masked vigilantes specifically, then that credit is for Zorro, who was created in 1919 by Johnston McCulley. However, Johnston McCulley didn't stop only with Zorro. He created various other characters like the first female superhero and the first super villains too. Characters like the Crimson Clown, the Spider, Madame Madcap, the Black Bat, etc., which is pretty obvious which comic characters took inspiration from them. And then we have other characters like the Domino Lady and Doc Savage, and also the Shadow. These characters came in later, making their debuts in the 1920s and 1930s pulps, before the golden age of comics era. If you read the pulp novels of these characters, you will realize how much comic book characters of today take inspiration from them. But the pulp era wasn't only limited to novels, because we also had radio shows where the Green Hornet and Kato made their debuts in the 1930s, for example. Which, fun fact, Kato is actually the first superhero sidekick, not Robin. And a reason as to why I like Dynamite Comics is because they seem to be the only company that is actively making an effort of bringing these pulp characters back to life with some sort of relevancy in an interconnected pulp universe. Many of them are already in the public domain, and they have made individual comic series for these characters and various crossovers too. But that's only for the superheroes. You should read pulps thanks to how good and cool the stories are. They really have amazing tales that inspired so many of the fiction of today. Plus it's vintage. That is, if you are a fan of the 1920s, 1930s, and 1940s like myself, you should definitely read them to know more about the times in the culture that brought these stories and characters to life. So many of these pulp novels, especially the detective ones, were put to the big screen. Also a lot of the science fiction ones too. Also, many literature genres were created and popularized thanks to the pulps like sword and sorcery, planetary fiction, cosmic horror, mystery noir, erotic fiction, weird fiction, lost world and prehistoric fiction, and psychedelic fantasy. So that's even more reason to read them. A lot of these pulp novels are already in the public domain, so you can find them for free in many digital libraries. If you have an iPhone, you can read them for free in Apple Books or in Amazon's Kindle. So this was the video. Thank you for watching.